Want to make something really impressive but still easy enough for a weekend bake? Then make this German poppy seed cake with plums and crumble topping. Juicy, creamy and a little bit boozy. This cake has it all. In this video I'm also going to show you the easy way to get the perfect short crust pastry, and yep, we'll also add a splash of this. The link to the whole recipe is in the description.
Before we start baking, you want to make sure you remove your butter from the fridge about 30 minutes before you want to start with this recipe. The same goes for the egg. We need those two ingredients at room temperature. The milk can stay cold. Okay, I got my recipe, I got my ingredients measured out. Let's bake! Alright, we're starting with mixing our flour, 350 grams, 80 grams of sugar. In the recipe card, in the blog post, I'm gonna give you all the measurements in cups as well as in grams as always, okay? Salt, always. Mixy, mixy, mixy. You can use your fingers or you can use this. Okay, just gonna combine this. We need no baking powder for this shortbread crust, not necessary. In goes our butter. As you can see, it's nice and softened. And now we're combining all of this into crumbles.
Just go ahead and combine everything with your hand mixer until the pastry looks like this, crumbly.
Now we need about 2/3 of this mixture for the cheesecake crust. You could be all neat and tidy and roll it out and make it all perfect, but I'm kind of in a hurry when I get going with my weekend, so I'm just gonna sprinkle this into the springform pan and press it into the bottom using my fingers and all the way up the sides as well. All right, almost there. I got my bottom covered already. I'm trying to make my life as easy as possible, so I just take a handful of shortcrust pastry and I form it into a little worm. Place that here right into the edge and press it up with my fingers. That's how my mom used to do it, and that's how I do it. No fancy bakers in my family, but still, we always had a delicious cake on the table every Sunday. If you're a baker like I am, no fuss, easy recipes, flavor on point, make sure to follow my channel. We'll be friends. Looks like I'm done. As I said, we used about 2/3 of the mixture. You can use a bit more if you like a sturdier crust. I like my crust thin, so I have plenty of pastry left for the streusel topping, which is not a bad thing, I tell you that. Now we're gonna pop this baby in the fridge while we prepare the poppy seed filling.
Start by adding some whole milk to a saucepan, add your sugar, pinch of salt, and your custard powder or cornstarch. Details in the recipe description. Whisk everything together. Now add your ground poppy seeds and let it all heat up slowly. At this point I like to add my granny's secret poppy seed cake ingredient, which is a good splash of white rum. While this is an optional ingredient, in my world it's not. Makes it taste so much better, trust me. Bring the filling to a boil, stirring constantly and cook until just thickened, then remove from the heat. As for the plums, I always opt for Italian prune plums because they're more flavorful. You simply halve them, you remove the seed, and then I simply cut them into slices.
Okay, our filling is done and our shortcrust pastry has chilled. Now here comes the trick to make the edges look super sharp and clean, like out of a patisserie shop. I just take a sharp knife and cut around the edges, take off the excess pastry, and you have a really clean and sharp edge. Now shake out the excess and you've got the clean crust all around. All right, time to assemble our cake. Boy, oh boy, this has thickened. I let this cool for about 15 minutes. And as you can tell, the poppy seed pudding is thick. So you want to give it a final stir before you pour it on top of your shortcrust pastry.
If your poppy seed filling has thickened way too much, you can quickly heat it up a bit more, but it should be okay and it doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, I have a couple of lumps in there too. Now we arrange our plum slices on top of our poppy seed filling. I also like to sprinkle my plums with some brown sugar for extra sweetness. Now top the cake with our streusel topping and done.
Alright, we're popping our cake into the oven for about 45 to 50 minutes. Then I'm gonna check for the first time. Oven temperature is set to 160 Celsius, that's 320 Fahrenheit. Let's go. Once I notice that the crumble topping is starting to brown too quickly, I'm gonna cover the whole cake with some parchment paper or aluminum foil to prevent it from browning too much before it's done. Okay guys, so I checked at the 45-minute mark and the cake was not done yet. I want my plums to be like all bubbly and the juices coming out of them, and that hasn't happened yet. So I popped it in for another 15 minutes, and that's why I told you to check at the 45-minute mark, please. The topping was already starting to brown. So I put a layer of aluminum foil on top to prevent the crumble topping from browning too quickly, and we're gonna give it another 15 minutes and check.
Now this is what your baked cake should look like. Let it cool down in the fridge overnight to be able to get clean slices, then serve with a dusting of icing sugar. You could obviously serve it with some whipped cream or vanilla ice cream, but honestly, this is rich enough as is. For more traditional German recipes, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And in the comment section, let me know which recipe you would like to see next.